Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. This episode, of course, is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, start of a new week. It is Monday. Probably single-handedly the most hated day of the week, I'd say. I think I don't know. All right, you think if we were to maybe get a tally of like 1,000 people and have them vote on what the worst day of the week is, you think Monday would win unanimously? Because, I mean, there's no way that you say the week Friday, Saturday, Sunday is terrible. Maybe Thursday. I don't know. Thursday, I don't think I've ever had a bad Thursday. Thursday's like right before Friday, so you can't say it's Thursday. Wednesday, it's like we're so close to the weekend. Tuesday, it's like at least it's not Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. Monday is the worst day of the week. All right. I mean, you got to be a crazy person to think it's the weekend. Yeah, there's no way that it's not. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, that's our little talk on the days of the week. All right. And look at Jay Cutler, out of the league. But nonetheless, I think he's becoming more likable. Okay. I don't know. That's what it kind of seems. Obviously, you got his wife who has a show on, I can't remember what network it is, but nonetheless, I mean, his wife's got a show, and I've been seeing Jay Cutler. He said some stuff on there, said he's not looking to do a whole lot of work right now. Jay Cutler is one of the most confusing players I've ever watched in my life. I don't understand Jay Cutler. I don't think I ever will, nor will anyone else. I mean, Jay Cutler one day would look like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Next day look like, wait, why is this guy even in the NFL? All right, it's a bit ridiculous. But nonetheless, he says that he's not looking to do a whole lot of work right now. I can't blame the guy. You play in the NFL, you make your millions, relax for the rest of your life. All right, who knows? Maybe he'll find himself in a Fox booth calling a game. I mean, does Jay Cutler seem like that kind of guy? I mean, that almost happened, but Miami ended up swooping him up last minute. But I mean, does Jay Cutler seem like the kind of guy who you could listen to and be entertained by while watching a football game? He's not like Tony Romo. All right. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Jay Cutler show emotion. Okay? And that's true. I mean, have you ever seen Jay Cutler show any type of emotion ever? Okay? Honestly, that's a real honest question there. And I don't think I could say I have. I don't think anyone else could say they have. I mean, the guy has the same plain face every time. You score a touchdown, it's the same face. He's sitting down on the bench, it's the same face. All right? And you know exactly what face I'm talking about if you've seen Jay Cutler. All right? But nonetheless, I mean, dude could have been all-time talent. But, I mean, he's retired. Well, he's not officially retired, but nonetheless, I don't see him coming back anytime soon. I don't see any NFL team picking up the phone to call him either. But I don't think he's really hoping any team does anyway, so I guess it all works out. All right? But nonetheless, today's episode isn't about Jay Cutler as much as I would like it to be. All right, maybe we could get good old Jay fit him into the fourth segment, just have a Jay Cutler segment. But I don't think it's going to work that way. Today, we're going to go division by division, look at each question, look at some questions among the teams in that division, and talk about it, as we always do. All right, it's the offseason. We don't really got news going on right now. All right, like I said, this part of the offseason, one of the worst times for the NFL and players because this is where you got all the arrests, the DUIs and stuff coming out. I mean, Brandon Browner over the weekend was arrested for allegedly doing some stuff at his ex-wife's or something like that house. His ex-girlfriend's house. All right, I think he's being charged with kidnapping and all that. So, Brandon Browner's done. Okay, I think he was done even before this. He got the Cardinals GM got cited for a DUI on the 4th of July. I mean, if you're a front office, that's not what you want at all. Okay? Like I said, last week it was the suspensions. This week it's all the arrests. And, I mean, if I'm an NFL player during this month, I'm not leaving my house. Alright? I'll go to the gym, or I'll go to the team facility to work out. Other than that, I am getting my food all delivered. I am just sitting there watching movies till training camp starts. Okay? Because there's literally no other stories going on right now besides the arrests and DUIs and all that, suspensions, everything. Okay? You don't want to be one of those July stories. This is where the NFL dumps them all out, because next month it's going to be training camp, preseason going forward. Then you get the season after that. Regular season. We're so close, man. We're what? 2 months away? July, August, then we got September. Season finally starts. It's taking way too long, honestly. Alright? I mean, we got this month of July where the World Cup's going to be done, and the only sports we got is baseball. And I'll tell you this much, baseball isn't the most entertaining one, but nonetheless, we got to get through it. We're close. Alright? The goal is to get to August 2nd. Ravens-Bears. I can't wait for that game, man. Roquan Smith, Mitch Trubisky, alright? Tariq Cohen, Anthony Miller. I'm not sure if we'll see Allen Robinson in that one. Eddie Jackson, Lamar Jackson, RG3 coming back. Alright? Crabtree. And that Ravens defense, I mean... And one thing, too, that's good about that Hall of Fame game, because usually it's the worst game of the preseason. But the Bears got a lot of young players, so we're probably going to see a lot of them play we're going to see them play a lot of snaps, given you got to have them develop. All right, I'm curious to see how much Mitch Trubisky plays, too. I mean, he only played about half the season last year. Okay. And I'm sure he still needs some develop, so maybe we could see Trubisky play maybe the first quarter. Maybe the first quarter. I'm sure we'll see Joe Flacco playing the first series, and that's it. I just want to see Lamar Jackson. Right, but nonetheless, I mean, let's get into these whole questions with divisions thing, because I mean, we haven't even started on that yet. All right, so which division do we start out with? Okay, usually when we do these little division shows and all that, where we go division by division, we'll do 2 NFC, 2 AFC. Let's start off with the NFC North, since we already got started with Mitch Trubisky. Okay, and speaking of Mitch Trubisky, I mean, you got the Chicago Bears. Last year they went 5-11, I believe. Okay, 5-11. You're going to be having Trubisky coming into his first full season as a starter. All right, Jordan Howard's still there. His name was in some trade talks this offseason. Nonetheless, stayed there. Tariq Cohen, like I said, you got Anthony Miller. Okay, who I'm really excited about. Allen Robinson coming to this team. And now the question with the Bears is... What is the question with the Bears? They say it's how much of a jump can they make to being a better team? Okay? They have the pieces. Okay? Remember I said that they kind of remind me of the Eagles? You know who else thinks that? Trey Burton, the new tight end of the Chicago Bears. Trey Burton, believe it or not, yes, played with the Eagles last season. Okay? And I'm telling you, this team is just like the Eagles. Alright? Just like them. You got an exciting defense, you got great running backs, you got solid receivers, and you got a second-year quarterback this season. I mean, the writing is on the wall. I might as well just go put my Super Bowl bet on the Bears right now. I might have to. All right. All that's missing from the Bears is a backup quarterback who could go and win them a Super Bowl. All right. Let's see. Who's a backup quarterback we could put on the Bears? Like a Nick Foles type of guy. Okay. Because, I mean, that's what got Philly to the Super Bowl, honestly. All right? I mean, there's still a possibility that the Eagles don't make the Super Bowl with Wentz there. And I'm not saying because, Wentz is bad or anything like that, but nonetheless, I mean, he's a second-year quarterback. All right? But like I said, I mean, let's see. What quarterbacks are out there? They're all pretty much taken up. Matt Moore's still not signed. Maybe that could be the backup. Colin Kaepernick. All right? He's been to a Super Bowl before. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, the Bears' question is how good can they be in this second season with Mitch Trubisky as their full-time starting quarterback? And I mean, the Bears are going to shock a lot of people this season. I'm just going to say that. All right. I've been high on the Bears since the middle of last season. Okay? And I think that now people are starting to realize it. All right? But I'm going to say this. I am number one. I am the leader on this Bears bandwagon. Am I a Bears fan? No. All right? But they're going to be a real solid team this season. So like I said, the question with them is just how much can they take advantage of the depth and players that they got. All right? And over in Detroit, question is, are you going to be able to put that talent together finally, or are we just going to keep seeing you barely miss out on the playoffs and just disappoint? Okay? I mean, you got Stafford. Okay, your running backs, they're not great, but they do a job well. All right? You got Marvin Jones, you got Golden Tate, Kenny Galladay. Your defense is looking great. Okay, I don't understand why this Lions team just can't seem to make the playoffs. Okay, I think maybe it's because of coaching. That changes with them bringing in Matt Patricia. Obviously, we got to see what kind of coach Patricia is, but nonetheless, I mean, he comes from the Patriots. You got to think he's going to do well. All right, and I think that I think the Lions play the Patriots this season. Is that game in New England? Yes, no, it's not. It's in Detroit. I guess, what can you do there? But nonetheless, yeah, questions with Detroit is, when are you guys going to finally put it all together? All right? I mean, it's honestly kind of embarrassing the talent you got, and you're just struggling. And then over with the Vikings, obviously the question is, can Kirk Cousins get into the promised land? Can Kirk Cousins get him to the Super Bowl? Okay? That's what he's here for. He's not here to take him to the playoffs. You wanted to go to just the playoffs, you could have kept Case Keenum, or even you could have signed Teddy Bridgewater. Okay? Now it's a point where, cool, he made the playoffs. We know what that feels like. We want to get to a Super Bowl here. We were in the NFC Championship game last season. Now we're ready to take that next step up. Okay, and as far as the Packers go, how far can Aaron Rodgers take this team? Defense isn't necessarily great. All right, did a lot to try and fix up their secondary in the draft, but nonetheless, I mean, this team goes where Aaron Rodgers takes them. All right, he missed a lot of time last season, so I think he'll be fine this season. But nonetheless, I mean, that NFC North division is going to be real interesting. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be picking another division. Let's pick that division right now. Let's talk about the AFC North, all right? So AFC North is next. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Alrighty, welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. Today's episode is all about questions at each division, alright? Spent the first segment, we did start off talking about Jay Cutler. Let's see, what else did we get to? Then we talked about the Hall of Fame game too, alright? So we did that for like the first, half of the segment. Then we moved on to the NFC North, talked about some questions in that division. Now we're going to talk about the AFC North. Okay, and there's a lot of questions to be asked in that division, that AFC North spot. All right, because, you got the Steelers who should have more than one Super Bowl under Mike Tomlin. I'll just say that, okay? I was in the crowd of maybe the Steelers should move on from Tomlin after that loss to the Jaguars, okay? I was one of those questioning him, but nonetheless, I mean, looking at it, Mike Tomlin's a top 5 coach in the NFL. He's a great coach. It's just maybe I'm expecting a little bit more from the Steelers. Okay, the Steelers are a team, they're a historic franchise. They're with the Cowboys. Okay, they're like, are the 49ers a historic franchise? I'd say, I mean, they got 5 Super Bowls, so yeah. Okay. It's the Steelers. I don't know. Do you put the Patriots up there with them? Because, I mean, I'm talking like, and I don't even know if I put the 49ers up there, actually. I'd say that right now, the Steelers and Cowboys are probably the top 2 franchises in the NFL because, I mean, the Steelers, they've always been good from like the 70s until now, okay? The Steelers have always, I'd say this, the Steelers are probably the best run organization in all of sports. All right? The Steelers are basically the model of how you want to run your sports team. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, maybe I'm just expecting a little bit more winning from that. Okay, my question with the Steelers is, do they still have it in them to make a run in the playoffs? Okay, because no doubt they're going to make the playoffs. That's easy money. All right. But the point here is, can you make that run? Can you get to the AFC title game this season? Can you get to a Super Bowl? All right. Or are you just a team now where, yeah, you once were great, but now it's just a point of runs in the postseason aren't going to come too often. You'll probably just end up losing the wild card game in the divisional round because you're past your time. Okay, and I think, like I said, that's what the question is here. All right. Because, I mean, last season, the Steelers went 13-3. Regular season looked like one of the best teams in football. One of the best teams in the AFC. All right. Divisional round comes. They lose. All right. They gave up, what, 44 points to the Jags? Really? I don't even think the Jags scored 44 points that entire season. All right. Actually, let's check that. Did the Jaguars score 44 points at all last season? Besides the Steelers. All right. We'll go to 2017. Let's check that schedule. Let's see. They hit 44 against the Ravens week 3. They hit 45 against Houston. So they did score that many a couple of times. I mean, it was against 2 non-playoff teams, though. All right. But, nonetheless, I mean, looking at the Jags, yeah, you know what? As far as it goes, I mean, Pittsburgh, they messed up that game, okay? Jags nowhere near should have put 44 on that team. Or 45, excuse me. Okay? And one thing I kind of don't like about the Steelers is they got completely away from the whole, we're going to just stomp on you with our defense. Okay, the Steelers used to have one of the most feared defenses in the league. All right. And ever since, they just stopped out of nowhere. Okay, I don't understand it. All right. I mean, the Steelers, their defensive backs have always been rather terrible. Okay. But you're like the Steelers linebackers, all right, the Joey Porters, okay. You had guys like Troy Polamalu playing safety. All right, the Casey Hamptons down at defensive tackle. The Steelers don't got that anymore. They don't got those feared guys. The Steelers, honestly, they sold out. All right, they're all about the offense now. Okay, them and the Ravens used to be those teams where, you know what, our offense is going to be good, but our defense is going to be a whole lot better. Okay. And the Steelers pretty much gave up on that and saw, you know what? We're going to go offense heavy now. Okay. And I think that's maybe why they haven't won a Super Bowl since 2008. Okay. But let's see, I don't think Dick LeBeau is... Let me see real quick. I mean, let's see. Dick LeBeau, Steelers defensive coordinator. He's not there anymore. All right, 2014. He was there from 2004 to 2014. Maybe that's all it is right there. Ever since they lost Dick LeBeau, okay, their defense went down. All right. Like I said, the question with the Steelers is, can they make that playoff run? Then you got the Browns. The Browns' question is, Is Baker Mayfield going to play this season? I mean, because obviously they got a team that's on paper good enough to make the playoffs, but I don't think that's really what anyone is focused on right now. Okay? I don't think the goal for the Browns this season should make the playoffs. It should be to develop and play well, a whole lot better than last season. You could do that by winning 6 or 7 games. Okay? And I'm curious, I mean, do we see Baker Mayfield this season? If I had to make my pick, I'd say no. Okay? Everyone seems to sleep on Tyrod Taylor, and I don't understand it. But nonetheless, I mean, he's still a good quarterback. Okay, and he's got a way better team out here in Cleveland than he ever did in Buffalo. All right, so like with the whole Baker Mayfield thing, I don't see him really playing this year, and I think that's a good thing. All right, let the guy develop. Okay, and I'm honestly curious to see if we see any rookie quarterback starting week 1. I don't think it happens. Okay, of course you got guys in quarterback competitions and stuff, and quarterback competition is sort of like the new code for, yeah, he has a chance, but he doesn't really have a chance at all. All right, so yeah, with the Browns, it's just a matter of can you improve from last season. I mean, it's going to be tough not to, since you didn't win a game last season. But nonetheless, we'll see about them. Question with the Ravens, what's going on with Joe Flacco? Okay, is this his last season there? I mean, this is the last season where they got to pay him his guaranteed money. They could cut him and be fine. And with Joe Flacco, I mean, Joe Flacco is going to be a starting quarterback for some team next season. All right, that's no doubt in my mind. Okay, but the point here is that the Ravens last 2 years have missed out on the playoffs, and I don't think they want to do it again. Okay, and Joe Flacco has seemingly been one of the reasons why they've been missing out on the playoffs. The dude has been terrible the last few years. All right. So now it's just a point of, can Flacco pick it up, or are we going to see RG3? Okay? And I mean, if Flacco ends up getting benched for RG3 could end up being the starting quarterback of the Ravens next season, given the fact that it's going to be him and Lamar Jackson in a QB competition, I think. All right? And I mean, that's only if the Ravens decide to bring back RG3. He's on a 1-year deal right now, which I do see happening. I do think they will bring him back. All right? But yeah, the question with the Ravens is Joe Flacco going to step up, or have we seen, like, is the best of him past him? Okay. I mean, it's just a point where Joe Flacco, yeah, he won a Super Bowl. But nonetheless, I mean, since then, what have you done? Not a thing. All right? Not an absolute thing. So we'll see how it all goes down in Baltimore. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals. My question is, they going to respond to Marvin Lewis, or are they just going to stink it up again? All right, because Marvin Lewis, as much as we like to make fun of him for always losing the playoffs, he is a very good coach. Okay? And I think it's just a point where maybe he's too old of a face to be there now. Players aren't really responding. I mean, last year they looked terrible, but also, I mean, it might just be a point where their offensive line was so bad where they had no chance whatsoever. I mean, they got talent. They got a solid defense. You got a solid offense, okay? Andy Dalton, when he's got time to throw it, he's a top 10 quarterback. All right, so my question with the Bengals is... Actually, let me look at the Bengals real quick. How many games did they win last season? I think, what did they go, 7-9, I think it was? Okay, let me see real quick. The Cincinnati Bengals ended up going... They finished third in the division, I know that. All right, but let's see. They ended up going 7-9. And they started out the season terrible. Okay, they really started to pick it up once we started getting to the second half of the season. Let me see exactly their schedule as far as the wins and losses aspect goes with it. All right. And I mean, this season, I haven't really taken like a big look at their schedule. Actually, let's take a look at their schedule right now. Actually, no, let's take a look at their last season's schedule, and we'll look at the new one this season. Right after that. So, I mean, they started off 0-3. Okay, ended up picking 2 wins against Buffalo and Cleveland. So it's 2-3 there. Then they went 2-4. All right, beat Indianapolis. Then they went on another losing streak. They ended up going 3-6 in their first 9 games. Okay, I mean, it was just a matter of we lose a few, we win a few. All right, for that. Looking at this season, let's see, is their schedule tough at all? They got the Colts week 1. You got to play, obviously, the NFC North twice each team. You do have to play the NFC South, and you're playing the NFC West also. So, yeah, they're going to have a pretty tough schedule, but nonetheless, I think it's something that they can handle. So, we'll see exactly if they're going to step up or if they're going to continue to be a bad team. So, we're going to wrap it up here. All right. And next up, let's see. Let's talk about the NFC East. All right, so we'll talk about the NFC East next. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. Spent the first two segments talking about the NFC North and the AFC North. Got some questions there. All right. And now we're going to move on to the NFC East. Okay. NFC East is always one of the funnest divisions, just mainly because there's always so much hype coming out of that division, and it's always funny just to see it just not happen. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, there are questions to be asked for that division. Let's start off with Dallas, okay? I mean, you go 13-3, Dak and Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year. Second year, you go 9-7, where you had Ezekiel Elliott missing 6 games. And here you are in year 3, okay? Question is, I mean, I got a couple of questions with Dallas. They miss out on the playoffs. Are you bringing back Jason Garrett? All right, and that's probably the biggest question I have. And I mean, Jason Garrett's a mediocre coach, I think. He's average. Okay? You made the playoffs twice, great. Other than that, I mean, he's been coaching what? He's been coaching this team, I think, since 2010. Okay? And what exactly have you done? Okay? Honestly. I mean, his first 3 full seasons as a head coach, you went 8-8. And then you make the playoffs. You go 4-12 the next year, I think it was. Okay. And then, of course, you get Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, and then it all ends up working out. I mean, Jason Garrett, the quarterback. Let's see, who's better, Jason Garrett, the coach, or Jason Garrett, the quarterback? I'd say it's probably Jason Garrett, the coach. Jason Garrett, the quarterback, I think, was a career backup. I think he had, one good game on Thanksgiving? I think it was. Okay. Let's see, he was in the league from 93 to 2000. Yeah, he was a career backup. So I'd say, yeah, Jason Garrett, the coach, is better than Jason Garrett, the quarterback. But I mean, Jason Garrett, the quarterback, did go 6-3. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, Dallas is eventually going to start getting something out of this guy. If not, get rid of him, please. All right, Dallas is a team who, just like the Steelers, should be good every year. Of course, you're going to have those couple of down years, but nonetheless, you pick yourself up after that, and you go back to being the top. Okay. And, I mean, it's going to be tough. Okay. And they got a tough schedule this season. Like I said, their secondary right now isn't relatively strong to me. Of course, I mean, a lot of the guys I have in that secondary are a bunch of young players who still need to develop, so obviously we can't count them out yet, but it's just a point where obviously you know Ezekiel Elliott's going to be great. Okay, and I'm assuming so with Ezekiel Elliott being in that backfield now for the entire season, Dak Prescott's going to play a whole lot better than he did his second season. Okay, and one thing I'm kind of nervous about with the Cowboys is that their receivers stink out loud. Okay. Terrence Williams has honestly just been the guy that you put opposite of Dez Bryant just so you could fill a spot. Okay. Cole Beasley, I'll give him that. He's been a real good slot receiver in the NFL. Okay. Now you add Allen Hurns, who's been a number 2 receiver his entire career and hasn't even been like one of the best number 2s. Okay, I don't even think he's better than a Mohamed Sanu or anything like that. All right. And it's just a point where who's Dak going to throw the ball to? He's going to do dump-offs every time? There's no big play receivers on this team. Okay. So that's my question with the Cowboys is the whole Jason Garrett thing, and you got a lot of holes on that team still. How are you going to fix them? All right. So then we move on to the Giants. I mean, obviously the question with them is how much more left does Eli got? All right. Can he make at least one more Super Bowl run within these next 2 seasons? All right. And Eli Manning, of course, isn't the most popular NFL player. People tend to look past his accomplishments and rag on the guy a bit. And for those that do that, let me tell you something, okay? As much as you don't like Eli Manning, and I'm assuming that the same people that don't like Eli Manning are probably the same people that don't like Dwight Howard. But if you don't like Eli Manning, you don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, you are wrong. All right? There's no way that the guy who's won 2 Super Bowls, is top 6 in all-time touchdowns and top 7 in all-time passing yards, is not making the Hall of Fame on the first try. All right. Like I said, the question with the Giants here is, does Eli have one more left in him? Okay. Does he? And I think he just might. All right. And it's a point where Eli doesn't have to be the best player on that offense. Okay, you got Odell Beckham Jr. there. You got Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I mean, a solid receiving corpse. Okay, and then your running back, yeah, we haven't seen him really play at all this season. Or we haven't seen him really, or not even really, we haven't seen him at all in the NFL. All right, I had a little bit of a brain fart there, but nonetheless, yeah, I haven't seen him in the NFL yet. But Saquon Barkley looking like he could be a real solid running back for that team. I mean, last year he did have one of the worst years, I guess, record-wise with the Giants. And I think that might have been just his worst year altogether, okay, since 2008. I mean, he threw for 3,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Okay, those aren't terrible numbers given context. The dude had no receivers for a lot of that year. Okay. I mean, they went 11-5 in 2016. So you know what? I do think Eli does still have one more run left in him. Okay, it's just a matter of they got to get to the playoffs first. Okay, and that's not going to be easy considering the fact that the NFC is ridiculously stacked right now. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, yeah, that's the question right there. It's not with anyone else. It's can Eli give him one more incredible playoff run? Okay. And then we got the Redskins. Their question is... What is their question? Redskins is... I don't know. Can you be better than average? I mean, the Redskins are just forgotten on that side of the NFC. Okay. The Redskins, I mean, you drafted 2 good quarterbacks. One didn't work out, mainly because Mike Shanahan didn't want him, and he got injured. The other didn't work out because I guess Dan Snyder didn't want to pay him. All right. That's what I got from all of that. But nonetheless, I mean, last year they went, what, 7-9, I think? Okay. Did anyone even pay attention to the Redskins last year? I mean, honestly. All right. I mean, you do have Alex Smith. I really do like this Redskins team. I think the defense is going to play well this season. And I like the offense a lot. It's going to be a boring offense, but it's going to be an offense that will, I don't know. They're going to put points on the board, but it's just, they don't have like those flashy players, so I can't tell you exactly why. Like, you got Josh Dotson, Jamison Crowder, Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed. Did draft Darius Guys, who I like a lot. That doesn't scream great offense at you, does it? It doesn't, but I just feel like as far as their talent and all what they're good at, it all just meshes together and it's going to work, I think. Okay? It's going to be one where it's just a complete team effort right there. All right. So the question, yeah, you going to be better than 7-9 because that's where you were last season? I'm not entirely sure. All right. But I do like Alex Smith. I think he's a top 10. He's 10th best quarterback, I'd say, in the league. Maybe 11, 12, somewhere around there. All right. And then we got, of course, the defending Super Bowl champs. Okay. What is their question? I guess, can they repeat? Okay. I'd say, yeah, they can. Will they? I'm not sure. All right. And I do think they got better this season. Okay. They have the luxury of having two really good quarterbacks. All right. You added a lot of decent players. I mean, let's take a look at their roster right now. Okay. So obviously you got J.J. still. Corey Clement, who I like a lot. All right. Darren Sproles coming back from his injury. I wonder if he'll still make the team. Nelson Aguilar, pretty much completely different player once they threw him in the slot. You got Alshon, who you linked up to a long-term deal. Okay, Mike Wallace, who I think is going to be great with Carson Wentz. Your tight ends, you got Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, who I'd say maybe might be one of the best tight ends in this past draft. Looking at the defense, okay, you got Derek Barnett, who had a really good rookie year. You add Michael Bennett. You got Brandon Graham there. Okay, you re-signed Chris Long. All right, Fletcher Cox is still there. You brought in Hilogi Nada. You got Tim Jernigan. Okay. I mean, this team is still the best in the NFC. Okay. And if you got Carson Wentz coming back and playing the way he did last year, sky's the limit for this squad. So the question right here is just, can you guys repeat? Because, I mean, there's no real flaws with this team. They're solid all around. All right. So we'll see how their season ends up going down. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking AFC East. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Football Podcast. Spent today's show just talking about questions within each division. All right, we've talked about the NFC North, the AFC North, the NFC East, and now we're going to move on to the AFC East. All right, the AFC East is basically the Tom Brady division. All right, if we're being real here. I mean, they've dominated it since 2001. Miami's taken the division crown twice. All right, but other than that, I don't think anyone has. Okay? Actually, they've taken the division crown once, 2008. Forgot that in 2016 they made it in as a wild card team. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, that's the Tom Brady division right there, man. It's ridiculous how much that guy's dominated there. All right? And speaking of the Patriots, I mean, I guess the question surrounding them is all that outside noise that's been going on with Belichick and Brady going to get in the way of their goal, which is to win a Super Bowl. Okay? Obviously, with the talk and all that, all the stories coming out about it, I mean, it's going to be a bit of, I don't know, it's a distraction if they make it a distraction. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, I think they're going to be fine, honestly. Okay? If it was a big problem, then it would have affected them last season. Because, I mean, that story came out week 15, I think, right before the playoffs were about to begin. All right. And with the Patriots, I mean, I think Brady and Belichick know they're not going to be in the league for too much longer. Okay? So you're going to want to go out doing your best so you could close out as one of the best ever. Which they already are considered. Okay? But with the Patriots, I mean, They're the best team in the AFC right now. There's not much surrounding them. We already know what they are. We already know what they can do, okay? We can't, this unit's not looking too good, because they're going to fix it. They're going to find a way to get past it. Okay? The only thing that can really stop this Patriots team is the outside noise, or maybe Nick Foles. All right? Maybe. But nonetheless, the Patriots, they're not worth talking about right now. Okay? They're a good team. That's just it. Okay? Question? Yeah, can Brady and Belichick get along and make it work for them to win another Super Bowl? All right. They meet up with Nick Foles? Probably not. Anyone else? Maybe. All right. I mean, honestly, we could get a Giants-Patriots Super Bowl this season. All right. Would not be shocked by that at all. And if someone were telling me, oh, yeah, I got the Giants and Patriots playing the Super Bowl, oh, that's a good pick for me. All right, at least I think it is. Why not? Tell me one reason why the Giants wouldn't be good. Okay, besides your constant Eli Manning slander. Oh, look what Eli did last season. Yeah, who did he have to throw to last season? Me and you, pal. Me and you. All right. So, like I said, there's not much to talk about the Patriots. Okay, but there is with the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. I mean, the Jets, it's just a matter of... Sam Darnold going to save that team, or are we going to go through another cycle where the Jets are just terrible looking for a quarterback? Okay. The Jets, like the Knicks, extremely overrated New York franchises. Okay. Probably one of the most overrated franchises in all the sports. I mean, let me tell you something. Okay, Joe Namath, not as good as everyone says he was. Okay? I'll tell you that much. But nonetheless, can Sam Darnold save that team? Sam Darnold doesn't work out. Sets the Jets back another few years. Okay? And I mean, eventually this team's got to pick it up. Okay? I mean, you've gone from Chad Pennington, who was a decent quarterback. Then you went to Mark Sanchez. You went to 2 AFC Championship games with him. Okay? Obviously, that didn't work out. Josh McCown was there for a bit. Well, still is, but they tried making it work with him. Same with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They need that one constant. They need that Chad Pennington. Okay? They need a guy who's going to be there for more than a few years. Okay? And I think that Sam Darnold, like I said, he could be the guy, but we got to wait and see about it. All right? And over in Buffalo, it's can you save Josh Allen from that team? Okay, they stink. They're the worst team in football for me. Your offense is hot garbage. Okay, absolutely terrible. And, I mean, you throw Josh Allen out there, he's going to have no one to throw to. Okay? And, I mean, it's just a point where Buffalo's always had a terrible front office. They seemingly are like a chicken running around with his head cut off. No real direction. Okay? And I think it's best suited for them and Josh Allen to just sit the guy this entire season. Okay? I mean, what is the benefit of putting him out there? I hope that this team isn't thinking that Josh Allen could take him to the playoffs again. Take him to the playoffs, okay? I really hope that's not what their mindset is for this season. Because that's not going to happen. All right? They made the playoffs last year because of Tyrod. And that's a fact of the matter. Okay, but with Buffalo, I mean, yeah, can you save Josh Allen from your own team? Josh Allen should not touch the field until he officially has a number one receiver. Don't tell me it's Kelvin Benjamin, because it's not. Kelvin Benjamin is not what everyone seems to think he is. Okay, is he a nice number 2 receiver? Sure. All right. But is he a number 1? Doesn't come close to it. At all. Okay. And I mean, if you paid attention to the draft, I mean, yeah, they spent some picks on offense, but in the 6th and 7th round, other than that, it was a real defensive-heavy draft. Okay? So we'll see what the Bills do, but I mean, looking at their schedule, you got to play Baltimore in Baltimore week 1. That's a loss. You got to play the Chargers. That's a loss. The Vikings and the Packers, that's 0-4. Then the Titans, that's 0-5. The Texans, that's 0-6. Okay. Titans, that's 0-6. Let me see. Ravens, Chargers, Vikings, Packers, Titans, Texans, that's 0-6. Then you got to play an Indianapolis team with Andrew Luck. Might be 0-7. Then you got to play the Patriots. Okay, 0-8. The first 8 games are awful. You play the Bears, maybe you could get a win there. I mean, I could see the Bills going 2-14, 1-15 this season. They're going to be that bad, I think. Okay. And then we got Miami over in that AFC East division too. And question with them is, it's the same question it's been the last 5-6 years. Is Ryan Tannehill the guy? All right, and I feel like the more like we've asked this question year after year, and I feel like if you don't have the answer yet, he might not be. Okay? But I mean, he didn't really get a real decent team around him till Adam Gase, I guess. Okay, and they did come within one game of making the playoffs in his second and third season. Okay, so he's gotten them close, just a matter of he hasn't gotten them there. All right? And I mean, Adam Gase's job depends on Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill don't work out. He's out there. Okay? Miami can't continue to waste years. You can't, continue to waste years. Okay? Eventually this team's got to step up. All right? There's got to be some team after Brady that's going to take over. And I'd say right now, Miami's in the best position to. Okay? People say, oh, the Jets, they got young quarterbacks. Yeah, those young quarterbacks haven't even played yet. Okay? But nonetheless, Miami's got to do something because, I mean, this whole period of mediocrity they've had since Dan Marino left has been ridiculous. All right? Yeah, he had 2 years where he made the playoffs since then, but well, not even since then because they made the playoffs. No, they made the playoffs a couple times without Marino. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. Okay? They just haven't been the team that they were with Marino or even in the 70s. All right? So we'll see if Ryan Tannehill can get the job done. But nonetheless, I mean, that's all I got to say about that. So we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked AFC North, NFC North, AFC East, NFC East. All right. Some questions in each of those divisions. Talked about them. And nonetheless, we're going to do the same thing tomorrow, except with the divisions we didn't cover today. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Like I said, I will be back tomorrow. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.